Hi, I'm Shakti Sunfire. I am originally from Denver, Colorado, lived in Boulder for a number of years, and I recently moved to San Francisco, California. Loving it. I first started hooping, in Yellowstone, it was in Yosemite National Park. My partner at the time was really into all things jam band, play, festival, and he taught me my first hoop move, which was a lift off from the waist. And I've been hooked ever since, totally hooked. So my background has always been with live music, and pretty early on in 2000 I saw my first String Cheese Incident concert, and really fell in love with not only the music, but also the community associated with that. It was a community of sharing and expression and just uninhibited self-acceptance in some ways, because you could show up in a rainbow outfit or you can show up with a ton of glitter on your face. So I had been touring with that band, amongst others, for all of 2000, between 2000 and now. I'm still doing it. And in 2007, the first year that I started hooping, I was in a conversation with one of the people that did some production for String Cheese. And he said, Laura, I was Laura at the time, he said, Laura, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm into copywriting, advertising. I work at this brand communications company in Denver, but I have this new passion in my life that's really come in a strong way. It's hula hooping. And I'm really feeling inspired to share that and to perform. And he said, oh, funny you should say that, because String Cheese is doing a concert in Colorado at Red Rocks this summer, and we're looking to source local talent. And so that was kind of my first in to the whole performance world in a bigger way. And that was actually the year that I met Spiral, and we became fast friends. I've really stepped into a philosophy that has a particular view of life and how things interrelate and things work. And tantric philosophy, based in the yogic tradition, specifically Anusara Yoga, has been my platform for understanding what's happening on an internal level, as being a reflection of what's happening on the external. So I have my own microcosmic experience, and it's a reflection of what's happening on the macrocosm. And my into that was actually through hula hooping. I had been dancing at a festival called Wanderlust the first year that I was in the Bay Area. That's in Tahoe. And my best friend, who's now my best friend, at the time I didn't know him, he saw me dance, and he came up to me afterwards and he said something along the lines of, I've been studying the way spirit moves my entire life, and I saw it in your dance, and I think we're going to be really good friends. We talked about hooping on a mystical plane, dance as an expression of the mystical experience, and what that's like when you hit these flow states, where you hit these spaces of no thought and no time, and just pure authentic self-expression, when you feel as if you have released some of the sense of doership, of authorship of your experience, and you plug in a sense, to the greater flow. And I think that the real meat of it is you are saying yes to what's arising in you at the deepest level of your being in that moment. You're saying yes to your truth, and you're not overanalyzing, you're not judging the scenario, you're not thinking of an outcome, you're not thinking of what's next. You are fully alive and present with what is happening now. And that's flow. That's flow in hooping, that's flow in tantra, that's flow in yoga, that's flow in the sense of being in alignment with with what is life affirming. That's what feels the best. So my message inside the hoop that's kind of come out of tantric yoga is one of radical self-acceptance. That when we step into that, not just in hooping but in our lives, we say yes to who we are and to what we're feeling, and we speak our truth. And that is the best thing that we can do for ourselves and for our communities and for our lives. Recently, my practice has been to push the boundaries, to push my edge, to analyze a trick or a sequence of tricks or even a full dance in the context of what am I doing as a result of pattern and habit, and where can I shift and push those boundaries to allow myself to dance along the entire spectrum. So recently I've been thinking of dance as being the language of movement. And language is the way that we express our internal and we make it external. It's the way we relate to each other. Then what we're doing with trick, what we're doing with technique is expanding our vocabulary so that we can more skillfully tell our stories. Part of this practice has been to view things in a set of parameters, like big contrasts, contrary complements, paradoxes, fast and slow, big and small, internal and external. And we take these 2 points, and then within that we analyze, okay, am I falling on just one point in the spectrum, or am I dancing skillfully with all of my capacity and all of my vocabulary? And so I've really gotten to the practice of subtlety. And that's really what it is now for me, is analyzing things subtly, and then expanding them. I want to be able to dance fully, just like I want to be able to live fully. Well, you know, if I had one thing to say to the larger hoop community, is that when it comes down to it at the end of the day, we do these things, we pursue these passions because they make us feel good, because we receive affirmations from each other that allow us to more fully accept ourselves. And so I feel like my message, because it's happened for me in my life, you know, everyone in the hoop community has done it for me and beyond, and so I feel like this is one of my ways to give back. My message is one of radical self-acceptance. And so be fully accepting of where you are and be fully accepting of the journey and the process, because there's never an end. You'll always have more technique. You'll always have more to dive into. There's always nuance and subtlety. So don't ever feel like you've hit a wall, and keep hooping.
Hi. My name is Matt McCorkle, also known as Pokey, and I live in Oakland, California. I live here in Vulcan Town. Welcome. Well, to tell you when I started hooping, I'll have to introduce you to my first hoop. Here it is. So, my friend Dewey made this out of wood. He took some 2x4s and carved off slices of it and glued it together for an art project. It took him about 2 months, and I was hanging out over at his house, and I saw this hoop over there, and I had seen some videos and met some people who did some isolations before. Pretty soon I was practicing with this hoop every day, trying to make it float and glide and so on. I'll do some body hooping sometimes. Thank you. No, not really. Yeah, no, I just like the small hoops. I don't consider myself a hooper. I hoop a lot, but I don't think I'm a hooper. I juggle a lot, but I don't want to call myself a juggler. I do some miming, but it's kind of weird to call myself a mime. I think I'm just kind of myself. Yeah, I have trouble with those sorts of categories that like people put themselves in. Like I'm a hooper. That means that I need to, well, so and so and so and so, or like I'm a juggler, and then you have to do like a juggle show. I'm kind of all about the blend and making it my own. Hey. I'm inspired to take it further, to make new things people haven't made. I'm inspired when I see people doing this, when I see people who have like really carved their own, and I'm inspired when I hoop and I watch the face of a kid who really believes that my hoop is floating, and then also believes in the magic. One time I was doing a show, and then my friend came up to me afterwards. He was in the crowd, and he heard someone in the crowd say, "Ugh, I can totally see the string. This guy's lame," and left. I think that's really cool. There was no string. I'm glad that person left. there's a lot of hoop moves that I do that feel really good to do, but that don't really look that good. And I still like to do them because it feels really good. But yeah, I definitely keep a balance between that and also sharing it. So like moves that look really good for other people, or moves that make a connection between me and other people, moves that I can share. But with juggling, it's pretty different. Juggling, I'm mostly juggling for myself. I don't have a juggling routine, but I really like to juggle. It feels really great and makes my hands really fast. But I don't have aspirations of having like a juggling performance. Well, let me tell you about my new show. It's called The Button Wagon, and I'm making it with my girlfriend Ember. And well, our show is about giant buttons, love, addiction, and magic. And it will be touring to a city near you. No, something that's really key for me is to make my own art, and totally in a show that's like all my own creation. It can be the biggest and the most expressive, and I don't have to conform to anyone else's ideas on like what a good show is, or like how they want to see me perform. You know, I get to make all the choices. It's gonna be good.
My name is Brecken, and I'm really cute and sweet and nice.